I work as a regular pizza delivery driver during my later years of high school. Because of school, I always worked the night shifts. On the Friday and Saturday, it was a very laid back job, and for the most part, I just be driving or standing in the shop, taking orders on the phone. A couple of my friends worked there too, so I always had someone to talk to. Anyways, it was Friday night, and I just gotten back from my last break. The place closes at the 1 a.m., so we usually stop accepting order around 12 as we still have to clean and everything before we leave. It was 11:30, but I figured I'd get a head start on cleaning just to pass the time. Me and my other two friends were the only ones working that night, and one was finishing up a delivery and the other just went on break after I got back. A couple minutes into cleaning, the phone started ringing, so I picked it up and asked how I could help them. There was an older man on the line, and he asked if we were still open for deliveries. I told him yeah, but we aren't taking any large orders. They said that was okay and asked for the regular pizza and give me the address to deliver it to. About 15 minutes later, the pizza was ready and I boxed it up and got in my car. The address was a little more 10 minutes away, and I was probably halfway there when I pulled up behind another car stopped at the stop sign on an empty road. I waited for a few seconds, looking around to see why he was stopped for so long. Then I honked my horn gently, assuming that he just fallen asleep or something. The car still didn't move, so I started to pull around him. But of course, just as I did that, he pressed on the gas and jolted forward down the road. I was a little bit annoyed, but I figured it was just some guy being a dick for fun, so I continued down the road. But a couple minutes later, I passed that same car pulled over the side of the road with its headlights off. I got a really uncomfortable feeling passing them, like something didn't feel right about it. I checked my mirrors for the rest of the way to the house to make sure he wasn't trying to follow me. Finally, I turned down the address-lying driveway that went between a forest of trees. I pulled up to the front of the house and put the car in park. Then I made sure I had everything and went up and knocked on the door. I waited a minute or two, and then an old lady answered and asked me what I was doing. I told her I was delivering the pizza here and recited the address to her that I was given. She said that nobody here ordered a pizza, and I could tell she felt bad for me. I just thanked her and went back to my car. This wasn't the most uncommon things that happens, as some people would do it as a prank or just give me the wrong address on the accident. I figured I'd get out of the lady's driveway, then called my friend to have them call the number back and confirm the address. So I started making my way out of the driveway, but as I was making my way down, bright headlights blinded my views from ahead of me. It was so bright, I knew it had a big car coming towards me, so I quickly pressed on the brakes. I waited for the car to turn off the lights or turn their car around. But after waiting for a little bit, I figured they weren't gonna move. I wasn't sure exactly what to do, as I could barely see and I knew the driveway was thin, so there was no way I could get around them. I decided to just wait and see what they would do first, as I didn't really have any other options. Whole minute went by of both of us just sitting there before they turned their lights completely off. I waited for my eyes to readjust to the darkness, then looked ahead to see where their car was, but I couldn't see it. I put the car back in the drive and I slowly began making my way down, being cautious in the case the other car started coming down the driveway again. A few seconds later, I see the car without its headlights off, parked in the middle of path. I recognized it as the same one what was parked at the stop sign. I guess he had followed me without noticing. I couldn't see through the windows in the dark, so as I sat there, I started to get pretty anxious and worried there could be multiple people in there with bad intentions. Then the front driver door opened and the man got out and began making his way towards me. Halfway to my car, he stopped and began waving at me as if he wanted me to pull up next to him. At this point, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I was really starting to freak out. I tried my best to pretend to be calm, though, and rolled the car next to him. To my surprise, when I pulled up, he didn't say anything to me, didn't even look at me as he started walking around my car and eventually stopped right behind me by the trunk of my car. I looked at my rear view mirror, trying to figure out what he was doing and why he was just standing there. A few moments go by as I'm looking at this man when I suddenly come to the realization, turned my head around to the front. The other three doors of the car swimming open and there more men started sprinting towards my car. My adrenaline started pumping and I stomped on my gas, flooring it and almost hitting one of the men as I turned my car off the driveway. I swerved around their car, nearly hitting several trees before making it back onto the path and eventually out onto the main road. There was nobody else on the road at this time, so I could clearly see a mirror when the car pulled out onto the road and started making its way towards me. I figured they weren't gonna stop unless I could get somewhere that wasn't so isolated. But after 30 seconds, the men turned down the side road. I made it back to work and immediately told my friend what happened. They both convinced me to call the police, to at least report it, even though I wasn't able to give much helpful information. An officer came down and I gave an official statement on the incident, and then they left just before we closed. I was surprised to get a call the next day saying that 3 of the men had been arrested after attempting to rob another car later that night in the same exact driveway that I was in. The men were caught when the lady called the police after having 2 more people try and deliver food to her that she didn't order. I guess they were using that driveway to lure delivery drivers in and rob them on the way out, since it was a narrow, isolated driveway surrounded by forests. Unfortunately, though, the 4th man was able to run through the trees and make it out, and I never received any updates on him in the following days, so I'm not sure if he was ever found. The old lady said though that she was unaware and had never seen them in the driveway before that night. It's pretty crazy that this happened to me, but also I proud myself for how quickly I reacted and how I was able to make it out unharmed. It definitely made my job more stressful though, and soon after I was able to change my shifts to only working during the day on the weekends. I really hope that last guy got caught though, because who knows how many more people could be in those horrifying situations due to his escape.